This chapter is the first chapter in syntax. All the chapters that we have studied before were about morphology. We were concerned with studying words. But in this chapter, we are concerned about sentences. So syntax means the arrangement of words within sentences. We are dealing with units bigger than words, which are sentences. So the arrangement of words within sentences is called syntax. And in this chapter, we are concerned about sentence patterns. In fact, when we speak and when we speak and write sentences. Each one of these sentences belongs to a specific pattern in English. So we subconsciously construct sentences with patterns. In this chapter, we are going to talk about each one of these 9 sentence patterns, which are the basic ones, and we are going to be familiar with the components of each one of these patterns. In order to make studying these sentence patterns easy, I arranged these sentence patterns into groups. And these groups are arranged according to the main verbs. For example, when the main verb is the verb be, we have 3 patterns that are highlighted in yellow. Pattern 1, pattern 2, and pattern 3. In all of them, the main verb is the verb be. While pattern 4 and pattern 5 in green, the main verb is a linking verb. So they share the same type of the verb, which is the linking verb. In red, you will see only one pattern, which is pattern 6, because it is the only pattern that has the intransitive verb as the main verb. While in blue, you will see pattern 7, 8, and 9. They share the same type of the verb, which is the transitive verb. Notice that in all of the sentence patterns in the table, you can see an N before the verb. You will always have an N before the verb. So what is this N? This N represents the subject of the sentence. So the first N in all patterns is the subject of the sentence. This subject of the sentence is occupied by a noun phrase, a noun clause, or a pronoun. That is why we have N. N represents noun. But this noun can be a noun alone, or it can be a noun phrase, a noun with modifiers, or a noun clause, a sentence that acts as a subject, or a pronoun like he, she, it, they, etc. Let's see these forms in sentences of the subject in sentences. In the first sentence, Mary is trustful. Is the main verb. Before is, we have Mary. Mary is the subject of this sentence, and it comes in the form of a noun, a proper noun. So the N before the verb is a noun. She became a doctor. Became is the main verb. It is preceded by she. The subject is she, and it is a pronoun. So the N here is a pronoun. Those new cupcakes seem delicious. Seem is the main verb in this sentence. It is preceded by those new cupcakes, which is the subject in this sentence. This subject consists of the noun cupcakes, preceded by a new, which is an adjective that modifies cupcakes, and those, a demonstrative pronoun that also modifies the new cupcakes. So here we have a noun phrase, a noun that is modified by a demonstrative pronoun and an adjective. Notice that if we have a noun modified by words like adjectives, pronouns, we do not call it a noun only, but it is a noun phrase. So the form of the subject in this sentence is a noun phrase. In the next sentence, the 3 black bags on the table were amazing. The subject is the 3 black bags on the table because the main verb in this sentence is were. Where is the main verb? So what comes before the verb is the subject. The 3 black bags on the table is the subject. But this subject consists of a noun that is modified by other words. The noun is bags. We are talking about the bags, which were amazing. These bags are modified by the adjective black, the number 3, the definite article they, and on the table a prepositional phrase that indicates the position of bags. So the 3 black bags on the table is the subject. It is an. It comes in the form of a noun phrase because we have a noun that is modified by words, adjectives, definite article, and a preposition phrase. In the sentence, what I see is true. The main verb is. It's not see, it is. Because before is the subject of the sentence, and I can substitute it with the thing is true. The scene is true. The word is true. The sentence is true with any noun, which means that what I see is an, as it can be substituted by any noun. And this an, which is the subject of this sentence, is a noun clause. Clause means a sentence. So it is a sentence, it is a clause, but we call it a noun clause because it comes in the position of a noun. Because it comes in the position of the subject, we call it a noun clause. And if you want to check whether it is a noun clause or not, you can put a noun instead if the sentence remains correct. So it is a noun clause. What I see is true can be substituted by the scene is true, the thing is true. Okay, so here what I see is an. It is the subject of the sentence and it comes in the form of a noun clause. In the last sentence, we have close the door. Close the door. The verb in this sentence is close. Before the verb, we have nothing. But if we have nothing, does it mean that we don't have a subject? Of course, this sentence is an imperative sentence. It is a command. With commands, we don't have an apparent subject. In fact, the subject is hidden. The subject is invisible. Still, we have a subject. The subject is you. The implied sentence is, you close the door. But we do not say you close the door, we say close the door, open the door, sit down, go away, bring me some coffee. In all of these sentences, which are imperative sentences, there is no apparent subject. But the subject is invisible, it is hidden, it is implied, in fact. It is implied and it is you. So you is the subject in this sentence. And it is a pronoun. In all of the command or imperative sentences, the subject is you. It is a pronoun. The N is a pronoun. It's time to talk about each one of the sentence patterns, starting with pattern number 1. Each sentence pattern has positions, and these positions are occupied by components. In pattern number 1, we have 3 positions, and these 3 positions are occupied by 3 components. In the first position, we have N, and we've said N can be a noun phrase, a noun clause, or a pronoun. It represents the subject of the sentence. The second position is occupied by be, by the verb be in any of its forms, like is, are, was, were, is, being in the continuous tense, will be in the future, has been, have been, had been in the perfect tenses. So any one of these forms can occupy the second position in pattern number 1. The third position is occupied by adjectival. Adjectival can be an adjective alone, like happy, small, interesting, blue, easy, difficult, grateful, etc. Or adjective phrases. Adjective phrases consist of the adjective plus words that modify this adjective, like very, rather, quite, very small, rather big, quite new, or an adverb that modifies the adjective, entirely dark, or an adjective plus to with a verb, glad to hear, good to know. So all of these are adjective phrases. They can occupy the third position in pattern number 1. Now let's have some examples of this pattern. My father was busy. Was is the verb in this sentence. It is one of the verbs to be. My father is the subject. It is N. Busy is an adjective. It is adjectival. So we have N, be, adjectival. Pattern number 1. My sister's room is very big. The verb is. It is one of the verbs to be. My sister's room is the subject. It is N. It comes in the form of a noun phrase. Very nice is an adjective. It is an adjective phrase. So, my sister's room is N, is be, very nice, adjectival, so it is pattern number 1. Learning English might be difficult. The main verb here is might be, so it is be. Before this verb we have learning English, which is the subject. It is N. And after might be we have difficult, which is an adjective. So we have N, be, adjectival, and the pattern is pattern number 1. In the next sentence, what you did yesterday was awful. Was is one of the forms of the verb be, so it is be. Before this verb we have what you did yesterday. It is a noun clause. It comes in the position of the subject. We can substitute it by saying your action was awful. Your action. So I can substitute it with a noun. So it is a noun clause. What you did yesterday is N. Was is be. Awful is an adjective. So it is adjectival. So it is pattern number 1 because we have this pattern N, be, adjectival. The weather has been hot and dry. has been is the main verb in this sentence. It is in the present perfect tense. So it is be. The weather is N, as it is the subject of this sentence, so we have N, be. Hot and dry is adjectival. Notice that we have two adjectives that are linked by and. Even if we have two adjectives or three adjectives in this position, it's okay. They are linked by and, so we consider them one component, which is adjectival. So the weather is N, has been is be, hot and dry is adjectival, and the pattern is pattern number 1. The last sentence, be careful, consists of the main verb be plus an adjective, careful. This is an imperative sentence. The subject is you. It is not apparent, it is hidden. It is implied. So the sentence is you be careful. You is N, be is be, and careful is adjectival, so the pattern is pattern number 1. Now let's take this note about pattern number 1. We've said that the structure of pattern number 1 consists of N, be, adjectival. The third position is occupied by adjectives or adjective phrases. However, the third position can also be occupied by a prepositional phrase. But this prepositional phrase acts as an adjective. So, if we have a prepositional phrase that acts as an adjective that has the meaning of an adjective, we can put it in the third position of pattern number 1 because it is an adjective, although it takes the form of a prepositional phrase. Let's have examples. In a bad mood. This prepositional phrase has the meaning of irritable, angry. So, it has the meaning of an adjective. Under the weather. Under the weather is a prepositional phrase. It means ill, so it has the meaning of an adjective. On cloud 9. This prepositional phrase means very happy, so it has the meaning of an adjective. Over one's head. It means incomprehensible, unclear. And we have a lot of these prepositional phrases that have the meaning of adjectives. So if one of these phrases come after the main verb be in a sentence, then this sentence belongs to pattern number 1. For example, the teacher was in a bad mood. The main verb is was, which is be. The teacher is in because it is the subject of the sentence. In a bad mood is a prepositional phrase. It means irritable or angry. Because of that, it is adjectival. So we have N, be adjectival, and it is pattern number 1. My uncle is under the weather. Is the main verb. It is be. My uncle is N. Under the weather means ill. It's not a place. It is a prepositional phrase that means ill. It's just like saying my uncle is ill. So under the weather is adjectival. So we have N, be adjectival. It is pattern number 1. I'm on cloud 9. Is be. It is the main verb, be. I is N. it is a pronoun, it is N. On cloud 9 means very happy, it is adjectival. So we have N, be, adjectival, it is pattern number 1.